Rain hammered against the gallery windows. Inside, Maya Chen stood before her unsold paintings, each canvas a piece of her soul that nobody wanted. Her paint-stained denim jacket hung loose over a faded black tank top and ripped jeans. Dark circles shadowed her eyes. 3 months behind on rent. 2 weeks until eviction. The gallery door opened. A man entered, water streaming from his tailored charcoal suit. His white dress shirt was soaked through, clinging to broad shoulders. He moved like someone accustomed to owning every room he walked into. "We're closed," Maya said without looking up. "I'm not here to buy art." His voice made her turn. Sharp jawline. Steel gray eyes that looked like they'd seen too much. A scar traced his left eyebrow, disrupting the otherwise perfect face. "Then why are you here?" He stepped closer, expensive leather shoes squeaking on the hardwood. "I need a wife. For 3 months. I'll pay you $200,000. Maya's breath caught. "Excuse me. My father's will has a clause. I inherit the company only if I'm married by my 35th birthday. That's in 72 hours. He pulled out a business card. Black. Embossed gold lettering. Alexander Kane, CEO, Kane Industries. "You're insane." "I'm desperate." His voice cracked just slightly. "My stepbrother is trying to steal everything my father built. If I don't marry, he gets it all. Including the foundation that funds children's hospitals across the country." Maya studied him. Designer watch. Custom suit probably worth more than her annual income. But his hands were shaking. "Why me?" "Because you're invisible. No social media presence. No connections to my world. No one will question a private artist I met and fell for quickly." He paused. "And because you look like you need the money as badly as I need a solution." Shame burned in her chest, but he wasn't wrong. The eviction notice crinkled in her pocket. What would I have to do? Move into my penthouse. Attend events. Convince my family and the board that we're in love. After 3 months and the inheritance is secured, we divorce quietly. You walk away with enough money to change your life. This is crazy. Probably. He met her eyes. "But I checked your gallery records. You haven't sold a single piece in 8 months. You're drowning. I'm offering you a life raft." Maya's pride screamed at her to refuse. But rent was due. Her supplies were gone. Her dream was dying anyway. "If I say yes, I want half up front." Something flickered in his expression. "Respect, maybe." "Done. And when this is over, we never see each other again." "Agreed." He extended his hand. "Do we have a deal?" Maya's fingers trembled as she reached out. The moment their palms touched, electricity sparked between them. His hand was warm, calloused in strange places for someone who lived behind a desk. "Deal." Alexander's shoulders dropped with relief. Then his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen and his face went pale. "What?" "My stepbrother just filed a lawsuit claiming the marriage clause is invalid." His voice turned razor-sharp. "We don't have 3 days anymore. The lawyer says we need to be married within 24 hours, or I lose everything." Maya's heart hammered. 24 hours? The car is outside. We leave for City Hall right now. Tonight you sleep in my home as my wife. His eyes burned into hers. Still in. Every instinct told her to run. But $200,000. A future. A chance. Yes. As they ran into the rain together, Maya didn't see the black sedan parked across the street. Didn't see the man inside raising a camera, capturing every moment. She had no idea her face would be on every news site by morning, or that marrying Alexander Kane would paint a target on her back. The penthouse floated 60 stories above the city. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked glittering lights that made Maya dizzy. Everything was white marble, black leather, cold glass. No photographs. No warmth. Just expensive emptiness. "Your room is down the hall," Alexander said, loosening his tie. The marriage certificate sat on the counter between them like a loaded gun. "We have a charity gala tomorrow night. My stepbrother will be there. We need to be convincing." Maya peeled off her wet jacket. How convincing? Touching. Eye contact. The appearance of intimacy. He poured himself whiskey. Didn't offer her any. "Can you act? Can you?" His laugh was bitter. "I've been acting my whole life. Something dark crossed his face. Before Maya could ask, her phone exploded with notifications. 50. 100. Her hands shook as she opened social media. Breaking. Billionaire Alexander Kane secretly marries unknown artist. Her face stared back from a dozen gossip sites. Comments flooded in. Gold digger. Nobody. Trash. They found out already? Her voice cracked. Alexander's jaw tightened. My stepbrother leaked it. He wants the public to think you're a con artist. That our marriage is fake. It is fake. They can't know that. He crossed to her, close enough that she could smell whiskey and rain on his skin. Tomorrow night, you need to look like you belong in my world. Can you do that? Maya lifted her chin. I can do whatever I need to survive. His eyes studied her face. Good. Because my family will try to destroy you. The next evening, Maya stood before a mirror in a dress that cost more than her car. Emerald silk clung to her curves, falling to the floor in liquid waves. A stylist had tamed her wild dark hair into elegant curls. Diamond earrings sparkled at her throat. She looked like someone else. Someone who belonged. You look beautiful. Alexander filled the doorway in a midnight blue tuxedo, bow tie perfectly straight. But his eyes held something raw when they met hers. I look like a liar, Maya whispered. Then we match. He offered his arm. Ready? The ballroom blazed with crystal chandeliers and champagne towers. Women dripped in jewels. Men wore power like cologne. Maya's heels clicked against marble as they entered. Every head turned. Smile, Alexander murmured, his hand burning against her lower back. You're madly in love with me, remember? Maya forced her lips to curve. Forced herself to lean into him as cameras flashed. His cologne wrapped around her, sandalwood and something darker. Alexander. A woman's voice cut through the music. Sharp. Vicious. A blonde in a blood-red gown approached. Perfect features twisted with barely concealed rage. Scarlett Kane. Alexander's ex-wife. I see you replaced me quickly, Scarlett said, eyes raking over Maya like broken glass. Scarlett. You're looking well. Alexander's voice stayed neutral, but his hand tightened on Maya's waist. Is this the charity case everyone's talking about? The starving artist you bought? Scarlett's smile was poison. How much did he offer you, darling? Heat flooded Maya's face. I love him. Of course you do. Scarlett leaned closer, dropping her voice. Here's what you don't know. Alexander destroys everyone who gets close to him. It's his specialty. Ask his first wife how that ended. First wife? Maya's stomach dropped. That's enough, Alexander said coldly. Or maybe ask about the accident. About who was really driving that night. Scarlett's eyes glittered with malice. Sleep well, Mrs. Kane. She glided away, leaving Maya's mind spinning. What was she talking about? Nothing. She's bitter about the divorce. Alexander steered Maya toward the bar. But his hand was trembling now. You never mentioned being married before. It wasn't relevant. And the accident? His face went stone. Drop it, Maya. Before she could push, a man stepped into their path. Tall. Handsome in the way villains always were. His black tuxedo matched Alexander's, but something about him radiated cruelty. Brother. The word dripped venom. Congratulations on your sudden marriage. Julian. Alexander's voice could cut steel. Julian Kane smiled at Maya. You must be the desperate artist. I looked into your background. Eviction notices. Maxed credit cards. No family. How convenient for Alexander to find someone with nothing to lose. Careful, Alexander warned. Oh, I'm always careful. Unlike you. Julian pulled out his phone, turning the screen toward them. I wonder what the board will think when they see these. Maya's blood froze. The screen showed photos. Her and Alexander at the gallery. Timestamps from before their marriage. A lawyer's signature on a contract marked temporary marriage agreement. Where did you get those? Alexander's voice was deadly quiet. I have friends everywhere, brother. Including in your lawyer's office. Julian's grin widened. The board meeting is Monday. I'll present this evidence. Prove your marriage is fraud. And take everything. He walked away, leaving them standing in ruins of their plan. Maya's breathing came too fast. He knows. He has proof. He has copies of a draft contract. Nothing signed. But Alexander's face had gone pale. We can still salvage this. How? Alexander turned to her, and something in his expression made her heart stop. We make it real. What? We stop pretending. We convince everyone, including the board, that we fell in love. Fast and hard and real. His hand cupped her face, thumb brushing her cheek. We give them a story they can't question. By lying more? By stopping the lie. His voice dropped to barely a whisper. I need you to trust me, Maya. Just for a little while longer. She should have said no. Should have walked away. But his touch was fire against her skin, and the way he looked at her made her feel seen for the first time in years. Okay. Alexander's relief was visible. Then he did something that changed everything. He kissed her. Not for show. Not for cameras. Just them, hidden in the shadow of a marble column. His lips were soft, desperate, seeking. Maya's hands found his chest, feeling his heart hammer beneath expensive fabric. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. That felt real, Maya whispered. Maybe it was. Before she could process that, screaming erupted from across the ballroom. They ran toward the sound. Julian Kane lay on the floor, blood pooling beneath his head. A champagne glass shattered beside him. And in Maya's purse, which she'd left at their table, police found the bottle of sedatives. The same sedatives that would show up in Julian's bloodstream. Alexander stared at her, betrayal and horror warring in his eyes. Maya, what did you do? Police lights painted the ballroom in shades of guilt. Maya sat in a chair, security footage playing on a tablet in front of her. The detective's face was stone. That's you, Mrs. Kane. 10 minutes before the incident. Approaching the champagne table. The video was damning. Maya in her emerald dress, reaching toward the glasses. Her purse open on the table. I didn't do this. Her voice shook. I don't even own sedatives. We found the bottle in your belongings. Your fingerprints on it. That's impossible. Alexander stood across the room, arguing with his lawyer. He hadn't looked at her since the ambulance took Julian away. Alive, but barely. The detective leaned forward. Here's what I think happened. Your husband's brother threatened to expose your fake marriage. You panicked. Saw an opportunity. No. You're facing attempted murder charges, Mrs. Kane. Unless you cooperate. Before Maya could respond, Alexander appeared at her side. His lawyer, a sharp-eyed woman in a gray pantsuit, held up a hand. My client isn't answering any more questions without legal representation. She has you, the detective said. I represent Mr. Kane. Mrs. Kane needs her own counsel. The lawyer's eyes were ice. Given the conflict of interest. The words hit like a fist. Alexander was protecting himself. Not her. Alex. Maya's voice cracked. He finally met her gaze. She'd never seen him look so cold. Go with the lawyer I'm sending. Say nothing until she arrives. You think I did this? I don't know what to think. His jaw tightened. Those sedatives were prescribed to you 6 months ago. For anxiety. Maya's world tilted. How do you know that? I had you investigated before I proposed this arrangement. Standard procedure. His voice was flat. Clinical. You filled the prescription but never picked up the refills. The bottle in your purse matches the original. Betrayal burned in her chest. You investigated me? You're surprised? This was a business transaction, Maya. I needed to know who I was hiring. The word hiring cut deeper than the accusation. She'd let herself forget. Let that kiss mean something. I didn't do this, she whispered. Then who did? Before she could answer, Scarlett Kane swept into the room. Still in her red gown, but now she wore a smile of pure victory. Poor dear, she cooed at Maya. In over your head, aren't you? What do you want, Scarlett? Alexander's voice was exhausted. To help. Scarlett's eyes glittered. I know who really poisoned Julian. The room went silent. Talk, the detective ordered. Scarlett pulled out her phone, showing security footage from a different angle. Maya's hands trembling as she reached toward the champagne table. But the video continued, showing what happened after Maya walked away. Another figure approached the glasses. Slipped something into one. moved Maya's purse deliberately. The figure turned toward the camera for just a moment. Alexander. Maya's breath stopped. The detective stepped forward. But Scarlett wasn't done. This footage was sent to me anonymously 20 minutes ago, along with bank records showing Alexander transferred $100,000 to a pharmaceutical company 3 days ago. She looked at Maya with false sympathy. He set you up, darling. Framed you for attempting to murder his brother, so he could inherit everything without competition. And when you go to prison, the marriage dissolves. He gets the company. You get nothing. That's a lie, Alexander said, but his voice lacked conviction. Is it? Scarlett turned to the detective. Check his offshore accounts. Check the pharmacy records. The evidence is all there. Maya stared at Alexander. At the man she'd kissed hours ago. The man who'd made her feel something again. Tell them it's not true, she whispered. Alexander's silence was deafening. Mr. Kane, the detective said. I need you to come with me. Everything was falling apart. Maya wanted to defend him. Wanted to believe this was another setup. But doubt crept in like poison. Wait. A new voice cut through the chaos. A young woman pushed through the crowd. Early 20s, wearing a catering uniform and tear-streaked makeup. I did it. I put the sedatives in the champagne. Everyone froze. Who are you? The detective demanded. Sophie Martin. I'm Julian Kane's assistant. Her voice shook. He's been blackmailing me for months. Forcing me to steal from company accounts. Tonight he said if I didn't sleep with him, he'd frame me for embezzlement and destroy my family. She pulled out her phone with shaking hands, showing text messages. Threats. Demands. A paper trail of abuse. I took the sedatives from Mrs. Kane's purse when I saw it at the table. I thought if Julian was unconscious, just for a few hours, I could escape. Get help. I never meant to almost kill him. The detective took her phone. Started reading. His expression darkened. I'm so sorry, Sophie sobbed, looking at Maya. I didn't know he'd drink that much. I didn't know it would hurt him so badly. I just wanted him to stop. Maya's legs gave out. Alexander caught her, his arms solid and warm. For a moment, neither moved. The offshore account, the detective asked, looking at Alexander. Donations to abused shelters. All documented and legal. Alexander's lawyer produced a tablet. The pharmaceutical purchase was for the company's employee health program. Also documented. And the video? Alexander asked Scarlett, his voice dangerous. Scarlett's smile faltered. I received it anonymously. You doctored it. Spliced footage to make it look like I approached those glasses. He turned to the detective. Check the metadata. That video has been edited. The detective took Scarlett's phone. Examined it. His jaw tightened. Mrs. Kane, you're under arrest for evidence tampering and filing a false report. Scarlett's face went white. You can't be serious. Deadly serious. As officers moved toward her, Scarlett's mask cracked. You destroyed my life, Alexander, she screamed. You took everything from me in the divorce. You owed me. I gave you exactly what the prenup specified after you emptied my accounts and slept with my business partner. Alexander's voice was ice. Take her away. As police led both Scarlett and Sophie out, Maya and Alexander stood alone in the emptying ballroom. Her emerald dress was wrinkled. His tuxedo jacket hung open. They looked like survivors of a war. You investigated me, Maya said quietly. Yes. You didn't trust me. No. He met her eyes. I trusted what you could do for me. That was all this was supposed to be. Supposed to be? Alexander's hand lifted, almost touching her face, then fell. I should have told you about my first marriage. About Scarlett. About everything. Why didn't you? Because I'm a coward. His voice cracked. Because everyone I've ever trusted has betrayed me. My mother. Scarlett. Julian. I learned to keep people at a distance. Even me. Especially you. He stepped closer. Because you're the first person in 10 years who makes me want to stop pretending. Maya's heart hammered. Alexander. That kiss wasn't for show, Maya. I've been lying to myself all night, but I can't anymore. His hand finally cupped her face. I'm falling for you. Really falling. And it terrifies me. She should have pulled away. should have remembered this was temporary. But his thumb brushed her cheek and she leaned into his touch. I'm scared too. Then be scared with me. He kissed her again, and this time it was desperate. Real. A promise and a plea. When they broke apart, Maya rested her forehead against his. What happens now? Now we figure out if this can be something more than a contract. His voice was rough. If you'll give me a chance to earn your trust. Okay. They left the ballroom hand in hand. Neither saw Julian's assistant watching from the hospital security feed on her phone. Neither knew that Sophie Martin wasn't who she claimed to be. And neither realized that the real threat was just beginning. 3 weeks changed everything. Maya woke in Alexander's bed, morning light streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. His arm draped across her waist, his breathing steady against her neck. The contract had stopped mattering somewhere between their second real kiss and the first time he'd told her about his childhood. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Check your email. You need to see this. A friend. Maya's stomach clenched. She carefully slid from Alexander's embrace, grabbed her laptop from the living room. The marble floor was cold beneath her bare feet. She wore one of his shirts, soft gray cotton that smelled like him. The email contained a single video file. Maya's hands shook as she pressed play. The footage showed an office. Alexander sat across from a man in an expensive suit. The date stamp read 3 months ago, before they'd met. I need someone expendable, Alexander's voice came through clearly. Someone desperate enough to agree without asking too many questions. For the marriage clause, the man asked. Exactly. Find me a nobody. Someone with debt. No family. No connections. Alexander leaned back in his chair. Someone who'll disappear quietly when this is over. Maya's breath caught. And the payment? The lawyer asked. 200,000. Half up front as promised. But the second half only if she plays her part perfectly and doesn't cause problems. Alexander's smile was cold. If she gets too attached or tries to leverage the situation, we have leverage. Background checks. Tax issues we can manufacture. We'll bury her so deep she'll wish she'd stayed poor and invisible. The video ended. Maya sat frozen. The shirt suddenly felt like a lie against her skin. Every kiss. Every whispered confession. Every moment she'd let herself believe this was becoming real. Someone expendable. A nobody. Disappear quietly. The penthouse door opened. Alexander entered in running gear, sweat-dampened black athletic shirt clinging to his chest. His smile died when he saw her face. Maya? What's wrong? She turned the laptop toward him. Pressed play. Watched his expression shift from confusion to recognition to something that might have been guilt. Where did you get this? Does it matter? Her voice was surprisingly steady. Is it real? Alexander's silence was answer enough. You were planning to betray me from the start. Maya stood, wrapping her arms around herself. This was never about us. About something real. That video is from before I knew you. He stepped closer. She stepped back. Maya, let me explain. Explain what? That every word out of your mouth has been a calculated lie. Tears burned, but she refused to let them fall. I told you about my family. About why I stopped painting. About everything. And you were just waiting to destroy me if I became inconvenient. I never used any of that information against you. Yet, the word hung like a blade. You were going to. You had it all planned. Plans change. His voice was desperate now. People change. I changed. When? Between the first lie and the 100th. Maya grabbed her jeans from the back of the couch, pulling them on with shaking hands. I was starting to fall in love with you. Actually fall. How stupid am I? You're not stupid. And what we have is real. Nothing about this is real. Her voice cracked. You hired an investigator to find the most desperate, isolated person you could exploit. You found me. Congratulations. Alexander's face had gone pale. 3 weeks ago, you would have been right. But not now. Not after everything. I don't believe you. Then stay. Let me prove it. He reached for her hand. She jerked away. Maya, please. Why should I trust anything you say? Before Alexander could answer, his phone rang. He glanced at the screen and his expression shifted to alarm. It's the hospital. Julian. He answered, listened, then his face went white. I'll be right there. What happened? Julian's awake. He's talking to police. Alexander grabbed his jacket. Sophie Martin isn't who she claimed. Her real name is Sophie Kane. Julian's daughter from his first marriage. Maya's blood froze. What? She wasn't trying to escape him. She was working with him. Alexander's hands shook as he pulled on his jacket. This was all a setup. Julian paid her to poison him. Just enough to look like attempted murder. So you'd be arrested. But she confessed. To get you off the hook temporarily while they built a bigger case. Against me. He met her eyes. Julian's telling police I hired Sophie to poison him. That I've been planning to kill him for months. That the marriage to you was part of it. The room spun. That's insane. He has evidence. Documents. Recordings. Alexander's jaw tightened. Someone helped him build an entire false trail. Bank accounts. Emails. All pointing to me as the mastermind. Who would help him do that? Alexander's phone buzzed again. A photo message from an unknown number. It showed Scarlett Kane and Sophie Martin. Sitting together in a cafe. Smiling. The date stamp was from 2 months ago. Scarlett, Maya breathed. She's been working with them this whole time. The attempted poisoning. The edited video. All of it designed to make us turn on each other. Alexander looked at Maya. They wanted me to seem guilty. Wanted you to doubt me. So when the real accusations came, you'd believe them. Why? Because if I'm arrested for attempted murder, the company goes to Julian. And if our marriage is proven to be a fraud, everything I inherit is contested. His voice was hollow. They've been playing us from the beginning. Maya's mind raced. The anonymous email. The perfectly timed video. Someone had wanted her to see Alexander's worst moment. Wanted her to run. The email I got this morning, she said slowly. It wasn't from a friend. It was from them. They're trying to separate us. Divide and conquer. Alexander stepped toward her. Maya, I know I don't deserve your trust. That video is proof of who I was. Who I've been my whole life. But I'm asking you to see who I'm trying to become. How can I? Because you already have. His hand finally touched hers. You've seen me at my worst. My most vulnerable. And you didn't run. You made me want to be better. Tears finally spilled down Maya's cheeks. I don't know what's real anymore. This is real. He pulled her close, his forehead resting against hers. My feelings for you. Your feelings for me. Everything else might be built on lies, but what we've become together, that's the only truth I have left. Maya wanted to believe him. Wanted to trust the man who held her like she was precious. But that video haunted her. Someone expendable. I need time, she whispered. I don't have time. Alexander's voice broke. The police are coming. Once they arrest me, Scarlett and Julian will make sure I never see daylight again. They'll bury me in legal battles. Destroy the company. Everything my father built. What do you need? I need proof that Scarlett and Sophie were working together. That this whole thing was a conspiracy. He met her eyes. And I think I know where to find it. Where? Scarlett's penthouse. She keeps a safe with documents she uses for blackmail. If there's evidence of their plan, it's there. His jaw tightened. But I can't go. I'm being watched. The moment I leave this building, I'll be arrested. Understanding dawned cold and terrible. You need me to break into her penthouse. I'm not asking you to do this. But his eyes said otherwise. If you're caught, you could go to prison. I won't blame you if you walk away right now. Maya thought of the contract. The money. The promise of a clean exit. Then she thought of Alexander's smile when he thought she wasn't watching. The way he'd held her after nightmares. How he'd listened to her talk about painting for hours without checking his phone once. Maybe it had started as a lie. But somewhere along the way, it had become her life. Where's the safe? Relief and fear warred in his expression. Master bedroom. Behind the mirror. Code is her wedding date to me. He pulled her close, kissing her with desperate intensity. I love you, Maya-chan. And when this is over, I'm going to spend the rest of my life proving it. You'd better. She kissed him back, tasting salt from tears she didn't know she'd cried. Because I love you too. even though you're the most complicated disaster I've ever met." His laugh was shaky. "Fair." 2 hours later, Maya stood outside Scarlett's building in black jeans and a dark hoodie. Her heart hammered against her ribs. The doorman knew her as Alexander's wife. He smiled and waved her through. Getting into the penthouse was easier than it should have been. Scarlett's arrogance meant minimal security. Maya slipped inside, moved through rooms decorated in white and gold. Cold. Perfect. Lifeless. The master bedroom was exactly as Alexander described. She found the mirror. Found the safe. Her hands trembled as she entered the code. The safe clicked open. Inside were files. Photos. Recording devices. Maya grabbed everything, stuffing papers into her bag. Then she saw it. A document at the bottom. Medical records. But not Julian's. Alexander's. Her hands shook as she read. Psych evaluation from 10 years ago. Diagnosis: narcissistic personality disorder with sociopathic tendencies. Recommendation for long-term treatment. Notes about manipulation. Inability to form genuine emotional connections. And at the bottom, a recent addition in Scarlett's handwriting. He'll never really love anyone. It's not in his nature. The artist is just another pawn in his game. Maya's world tilted. Looking for something? She spun. Scarlett stood in the doorway, smiling. And beside her, holding a gun, was Sophie. "You made this too easy," Scarlett purred. Breaking and entering. Stealing confidential documents. Her smile widened. "Thank you for giving us exactly what we needed to destroy both of you." The trap had never been for Alexander. It had been for Maya all along. Maya's hands shook as she pulled out more documents. Progress notes. Recent evaluations. A letter from his therapist dated 1 month ago. Alexander has made remarkable progress. His ability to form genuine attachments has grown substantially. Recent entries in his journal suggest he's experiencing reciprocal emotional intimacy for the first time. "I'm optimistic about his continued growth." "He wrote about you," Scarlett said viciously to Maya. Pages and pages about the broken artist he was manipulating. About how easy you were to control. "I wrote about falling in love," Alexander corrected. "About being terrified I'd ruin the best thing that ever happened to me." His voice broke. "About wanting to be worthy of her." Maya's vision blurred. "Alex, the first file you saw was real. I was planning to use you and discard you. That's who I was 3 months ago." He met her eyes through the screen. "But you changed me. Your honesty. Your passion. The way you see the world." He smiled, sad and genuine. "I'm still learning how to love. Still figuring out how to be the man you deserve. But it's real, Maya. I swear it's real." Touching, Scarlett sneered. "Doesn't change the fact that Maya just committed a felony." "Sophie, make the call." But Sophie was staring at her phone. At new messages flooding in. "What is this?" she whispered. Scarlett grabbed the phone. Her face went white. The live stream had reversed. Now it showed Alexander's penthouse, but he'd turned the camera, revealing 2 police detectives standing behind him, recording everything. "Scarlett Kane," a detective's voice came through clearly. "You've just confessed to conspiracy, extortion, and attempted murder on a live feed being recorded by 6 different devices." Scarlett's phone clattered to the floor. "Sophie Martin," the detective continued. "Put down the weapon. Officers are outside the door. This is over." Sophie's gun dropped. She sank to her knees, sobbing. "She said my father would love me if I helped her. She promised." The door burst open. Police flooded in. Maya backed against the wall as they handcuffed both women. "You set this up," Scarlett hissed at Alexander through the phone screen. "You used Maya as bait." "No," Alexander said quietly. "Maya chose to help me, knowing the risk. That's the difference between you and her. She makes choices. You manipulate people into making them for you." As police led Scarlett away, she screamed threats and curses. Sophie just cried. An officer helped Maya outside. Paramedics checked her for injuries. Everything felt surreal. Distant. Then Alexander was there, running from a black car, still in sweatpants and a t-shirt. He pulled her into his arms, holding her so tightly she could barely breathe. I'm sorry, he whispered into her hair. I'm so sorry. I should have told you about the psych evaluation. About everything. You should have. Maya pulled back to look at him. But I understand why you didn't. Fear makes us hide the worst parts of ourselves. You're not afraid anymore? Terrified. She smiled through tears. But I'm also in love with you. The real you. Complicated, damaged, trying to be better you. Alexander cupped her face. I don't deserve you. Probably not. She kissed him. Good thing I'm not very smart about these things. His laugh was shaky. What happens now? Now you inherit your company. Save those hospitals. Keep being better. Maya's hand found his. And I go back to my gallery. Start painting again. About that. Alexander pulled an envelope from his pocket. Your second payment. $100,000. Maya stared at the check. Freedom. Security. Everything she'd needed 3 months ago. She tore it in half. What are you doing? I don't want your money, Alexander Kane. She met his eyes. I want a real relationship. Not a transaction. Not an arrangement. Just two broken people trying to figure out how to be whole together. That's all I want too. He kissed her forehead. But you should know, being with me means dealing with my family. My issues. My past. And being with me means late nights in paint-covered studios. Panic attacks at fancy events. Student loan debt. Sounds perfect. They stood together as sunrise painted the sky gold and pink. Police cars departed. The nightmare ended. But something new was beginning. 6 months later, Maya's gallery hosted its first major exhibition. Her paintings lined the walls, each one a piece of the journey. Pain and hope mixed on canvas in ways that made strangers stop and stare. Alexander stood beside her in jeans and a simple sweater. No suit. No pretense. Just him. You did it, he said softly. We did it. Maya squeezed his hand. I wouldn't be here without you. You would have found your way eventually. Maybe. But it's better with you here. They'd been to therapy. Together and separately. Learned to communicate. To trust. To build something real on the foundation of something false. Julian had recovered and faced charges. Scarlett and Sophie were awaiting trial. The company was thriving under Alexander's leadership. And Maya was painting again. Not because she had to. Because she wanted to. I have something for you, Alexander said, pulling out a small box. Maya's breath caught. Alex. It's not what you think. Open it. Inside was a key. Simple. Silver. No diamond. No grand gesture. Key to what? The building next door. Empty studio space. I bought it. He looked nervous. Uncertain. I thought maybe you'd want to expand. Teach classes. Help other artists who feel invisible. Tears pricked Maya's eyes. You bought me a building? I bought us a future. If you want it. His hand found hers. No contract this time. No arrangement. Just a choice. Every single day. Maya looked at the key. At the man who'd started as a lie and become her truth. At the life they'd built from ashes and mistakes. Yes, she whispered. Every single day, yes. He kissed her as her paintings watched. As strangers applauded. As their story, messy and complicated and real, continued to unfold. Because some things that start as pretend become the most honest truths we ever tell. And some people who seem impossible to love teach us what love really means. The end.